Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Talkin Kop. Welcome back. It's the same four people that you saw the last time we were on here talking about Liverpool's winning the Champions League. I'm your host, Matt. I'm joined once again by Gav, by Kev, by Ashley. And even though we tried to do it and I tried to stop you guys from going full-fledged into it, tonight is the night we are going to discuss and preview the big match coming up at the weekend. And Rory Fitzgerald has just become a new member. You absolutely love to see that. Love to see that. So Rory can now get involved in
Real time, Rory. Fuck's sake.
I know the newly resurrected 30 that Gav gets to whenever he's not too busy in the morning and people give him something to actually talk about, which is for members. Get involved in that. It's a brilliant use of $3.99 a month. Anybody else that's a regular of the show, become a member. It's good value for the money. Ashley, the weekend looms large. How are you feeling about it?
I think quietly confident. I think I've been saying that a lot this season, but that's kind of what the Arnie slot machine is doing to me. It's making me feel quietly confident. So, yeah.
I mean, not so quiet when you're on YouTube talking about it, but I get what she's after. Kev, which version of you do we have tonight?
Look, nervous. Got to be honest. It's this game is riddled with banana skins because all the excuses are laid out in front of us already. They've spent a week laying out all their excuses, and if they somehow manage to get out of jail on this one, it'll be labelled as we've bottled it or we didn't show up. It'll be labelled as Liverpool didn't do what they needed to do because look at what Arsenal are missing. Yeah, and let's not mince it. They recently, I think I'm just reading it there, Arsenal unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games against Liverpool, winning 2, drawing 2. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. This isn't going to be easy. If we get a win there, we're going to earn it. And we're really going to have to turn up on the day.
Yeah, I mean, Gav, the narrative is, it seems like it's been spun that it's a no-lose situation for Arsenal, and then by reverse, it's a no-win situation for Liverpool. Scouser Pete says it's a big match for them, season-defining even for us. It's just another Sunday at the office. You get that feeling too?
No, I don't. I agree with Kev. I think they are rolling out the excuses to a certain extent. You know, they're missing their centre back. I actually think he's their second best centre back in terms of importance, because I think Gabriel is unbelievable. They're missing Saka, who's a big player. They're missing possibly Calafiori. And anyone else they're missing, I'm not too sure starts. Maybe I'm wrong. We're missing Alisson. We're missing Jota. And I don't think anyone else that we're missing starts either, if I'm correct. But the thing about it is, I know where Kev's coming from. It's a no-win, it's a no-lose, or no-win and no-lose situation for different sides of it. I just think it's telling. I just think it's telling that 9 games. I think it's a big game, but I don't think it's a season-defining game. If we win, we go 7 clear of Arsenal and we stay top, we're a point ahead of City, who will be Southampton. If we draw, it's as is, you know. And if we lose, we're probably 2 behind City, 1 ahead of Arsenal, 9 games in. I'm not saying it feels like just another day at the office for Liverpool, but it feels like it's very early in the season. It's not. It could be defining for Arsenal. I don't know, but I think it's just so fucking telling how big they're making this. It's a big game. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that they're making this so fucking big, you know, if we lose, it's because of injuries. If we win, how fucking great are Arsenal and how poor are Liverpool? It's not that at all for me. It's a big game on Sunday. Arsenal against Liverpool, like they always are, whether one team is 4th or 5th, 2nd or 8th, it never really matters. They're always big games, and I just think that they're making this way too big. But I can see the reasons why, because they're so fucking emotional. I said this the other night. Everything is emotion with them. You know, instead of just getting down to it and going, we've a couple of injuries, we believe in our squad, we're going out, we'll be ready to go. All we're listening to over the last couple of days is, Saka might be back training, Calafiori, and it's like, realistically, will they just play? But for me, Matt, it's a big game. It's not season defining in either way, and I wouldn't listen to the media. Honestly, you know, they're telling you Liverpool's first big test. It's not, you know. And when Liverpool were winning most weeks, they could come up against Arsenal. and draw it against them or lose against them. It happens all the time. Big teams beat other big teams. So I'm not nervous whatsoever. I'm going into it. I've literally gone into this season going, we have to make this the best crack possible. And this is the sort of game where you go in and go, this is going to be the crack. That's where I am on it.
It really does feel that way. I mean, you're right in the sense that it's just a big game because it's Liverpool and Arsenal. Like, two of the undoubtedly biggest clubs in English football, world football even, right at the top of their games currently. So there's a lot riding on it, but it's one game out of 38 and you can only do so much. Thor, the dyslexic polyglot, would like to think that the last few at the Emirates, Arsenal have used all their luck. There's the penalty, the Saka goal, VAR couldn't check, the Alisson brain fart, Odegaard's handball last season and whatnot. Let's talk a little bit of lineups, Ashley. I think today the reports came out that Saka, Calafiore, and Timber weren't training for Arsenal, so that probably rules them out. Or are you expecting some sneakiness from Mikel Arteta in terms of the Arsenal lineup?
I think he was just playing his cards close to his chest. Reading between the lines, you're saying that Calafiore is basically in the doctor's office today. He wasn't even at the training ground. You had Saka and then Timber training on grass, which, that could be months until they, I don't think it's going to be months, but I think it's probably going to be weeks until they play. I don't think Odegaard is going to be ready despite all of the, he'll be ready for the international break bullshit. I think they'll be without all of them personally. I think Arsenal or Arteta is just trying to kind of use whatever mind games he's got. That's the way he is. He likes to try to, get clever in the press conferences and whatnot. But I think my assumption is that they're not going to play. If they do play, I think I'm actually not mad at that because I think he's throwing them in too early. I think that he's risking their injury and their fitness. If Saka plays after not training for a couple of weeks, that wouldn't shock me, but I do think that would be a stupid thing to do because at this point, Arsenal, like you were saying, they're very emotional, but this is a long season and you have to play the long game. And if you're starting to already risk players in October, I think that's a dumb move. But I don't get paid a lot of money to be a manager, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Scouser Pete is wondering if a halfwit can play mind games. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Mikel Arteta in that sense. Kev, in terms of, Saka, Calafiore, Timber, the players that are in or maybe out, I was doing some reading on an Arsenal subreddit today about who's the bigger miss for them. And it goes along with this comment from Bob Paddock. If we win the set piece game, we don't lose the game. Last few games against them, we conceded by set pieces, crucial goals. And I think Martin Odegaard is the bigger miss out of all of them.
He's massive, isn't he? The thing is, their strength this season has been their set pieces, but a lot of their set pieces are based on players knowing their roles, knowing where to run and who to block and how to block. And that comes from having a settled lineup. I'll be honest, I haven't watched them in any of the League Cup games or even in the Champions League, so I don't know what their set piece stuff is like when they've had to mix it up. But you can expect them to be still dangerous. Look, irrespective of who they put out, odds are, for what it's worth, I think Thomas Partey will probably play right back. The only question really is a case of Martinelli's coming back from an injury. He'll probably have to play. And Ashley is spot on in what she's saying. I said it the other night, the more risks Arsenal have to take now at this stage of the season with players' fitness, the better in the long run it's going to be for us. Because last year, they struck whatever shit they stood in last season to keep that core group of players fit. That is very rare that it happens twice. And we know what it's like when you go toe-to-toe with Man City. It's usually the following on season that you pay for it. And you usually pay for it early. And it's no real surprise that with the amount of football that Odegaard and Saka especially have been put on their shoulders over the last 2 years, that they're the two that are really feeling the strain now. Set pieces, they will be dangerous, but a lot of it is going to be from delivery. And I'm looking at a predicted 11 here that's in the London Evening Standard. And I don't know who that delivery is going to come from. That's going to be as accurate as what they've been used to over while Odegaard is in the side. Saying all of that, Gabriel is a menace in the air. So Konate, Virgil, an argument for whoever comes in as well up front. Being on that front post, Kelleher will have to be really on it as well, dominating his line, coming for balls when he needs to. We have to be really aware of it. And credit where it's due. Their set pieces are phenomenal. They really, really are a strong weapon. And we have to be really aware of it. It's a real threat for them.
Yeah, if Saka misses out, and I don't think there's a chance Odegaard plays. If Saka and Odegaard are missing, I believe that's both of their left-footed set piece takers. So, half of the corners you're likely to concede from that side. It removes the option of them playing the in-swinging corners, and those, to my recollection, are some of their more dangerous ones. Gav, comment here from Tom Boland. He says Saliba's a huge loss for him. He's the calmest of defenders. Gabriel's the ticking time bomb. And there was another thing I saw today that, over X number of games, that Saliba has the highest points per game return out of any Arsenal player in the Premier League era. Like he is a quality defender, and that's a stroke of luck for it, isn't it?
Saliba's brilliant, but Gabriel isn't the one that was time bombing it down in Bournemouth, was he? Let's be honest about it. I'm not saying Gabriel is a better defender than Saliba. I think overall Saliba is a better defender than Gabriel. What I mean by that is, in terms of importance and organisation of the back four, I think Gabriel is massive for them. I think he's the more physical centre back. That will look. He will look to be on Nunes. He'll look to take the responsibility with regards to Nunes, because their centre back options. If Calafiori doesn't play and Timber isn't fit, I think Kev's right. I think you could end up with Ben White playing centre half with Gabriel and Partey going right back. Or if he leaves Ben White where he is, he brings the Polish lad Quiri or whatever his name. And he's I don't rate him. I think he's a real squad centre half. Listen, a lot of people think that it's, they're missing all these players. Liverpool will have it easy. They won't. It's not an easy place to go to. They try drum up an atmosphere, in fairness to them. They're not very good at it. But it's not an easy stadium to go to. And they will be hurting from Bournemouth. They will be hurting from the injuries. And again, I just think there's a feeling around them that they maybe think, listen, we just have to go for this. I'm not saying last chance saloon, but they genuinely feel like, to me, like within the next 3 or 4 weeks, they could feel like they're in the last chance saloon, and everything the motion just keeps going up and up and up. And we talk about, chasing City for a season, and you feel it the following season. But when you have so many games that are on the edge, so many games that you should win that are on the edge, and most of the time they come out and win them, but it's after the game, it's like they're just like literally on their knees because they've had to put so much into a game they shouldn't. It does catch up with you. But look, I take the point on Saliba. He's a massive loss. I'm just saying, in terms of organisation, they probably have that better centre half in terms of organisation there. In terms of ability, Saliba's right up there, and he will go on to be one of the best centre backs in world football, in my opinion. But I don't know who's going to start for them. Like, honestly, like I can't even remember when Odegaard got injured. Like, and people keep banging on about him. And I was like, when did he get injured? And it was the last international break, which is probably 4-5 weeks ago now.
Yeah, middle of September, something like that.
So 5 weeks anyway. I don't think 5 weeks enough for him to come back. I'd be amazed if he's back. Like, scouts a pieces there. He hasn't kicked the ball in 4 weeks. There's no way he's ready for Sunday. You look at Saka. I think Saka gets injured. Does he get injured on the last international break?
He goes off for England
during the last international break. He comes
during
off.
The last international break, yeah.
And they're saying he's training on grass. That you don't know what that means, because how many times have we seen a Liverpool player and go, "Oh, he's back out on the grass," and then it's 2 weeks. Then, do you know what I mean? So it's one of those where I'm not too sure on Saka. Calafiori, the pictures I've seen of his knee on Tuesday night didn't look great. And if he's down getting scans again today, like, come on, will you? Do you know what I mean? Unless they've gone, listen, send him for another scan just to make sure he's 100%. That's a bit of a weird one. I never know if Timber is fit. genuinely don't know if he's whenever. Like I couldn't tell you if he's fit or not from one week to the next. So that's a bit of a mad one. Martinelli, I didn't know was coming back from an injury. I really rate him. You have Jesus, you have Havertz, you have Rice, you have Partey, you have Marino, you have Sterling, you have Trossard. There's still plenty of players on Arsenal side that can cause you problems. But my biggest thing for Liverpool going into this is just to ignore what they're saying. And I think, in fairness to Slot, he's shown this season he doesn't really take much notice of what other teams are saying or doing. He goes in, he'll go in with his plan, and hopefully it works. Because they're missing a few, we're missing a few. I just think it's I think it's a really intriguing game. I really, really do. Even without the injuries, I think it's a really intriguing game.
Yeah, there's no two ways around it. I mean, it's two teams that want to come out and play positive football, and one or both of the managers might set their teams up to be a little bit cagier with it. Before we move on to the Liverpool lineup, Kev, why don't you read out what that predicted 11 was there from the newspaper for us? Because I'm interested if they've got Partey at right back. I'm presuming there's Marino, Rice in the midfield. Are they
Jorginho?
going?
Well, the way they've got this predicted is to line up in a 4-2-2 with Raya and goal, Partey, White, Gabriel, and Lewis Skelly at left back.
Oh.
Rice and Moreno as your two holding players. Saka, Martinelli on the wings. Havertz and Trossard as your two 10s. Your two number 9s dropping back.
I can't see him going in there with only two midfielders in the middle of the park against us.
No, nor can I. I think the way they'll line up, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the back five. With the keeper
does
and the
Zinchenko not get a game for them anymore? No,
hasn't really featured at all. And they rate this Lewis Skelly kid. Yeah, he's available. But I'd be surprised if Sterling doesn't play instead of Saka, and I would be really surprised if Havertz doesn't drop into that midfield role with, probably Rice and Moreno as your two sitting players and Havertz having that freer role to try to support whoever, Trossard more than likely playing up front. So I'd be surprised if they don't line up that way. The other ones are saying, Odegaard out, Tierney out, Tomiyasu out with his knee, Saliba suspended. It's more a case of what's going to be available to him on the bench if he needs to change anything. And there really ain't much. There really, really isn't. A few kids, a few young players. Jorginho would be the interesting one. Gav's just spot it. If you want someone to come in, play in a 6 to try to control the tempo, and someone to pass through, he's ideal for it. Just don't ask him to chase anything because he just can't do that. So he's got options, even though they're limited. But I don't think he's got options to change anything. Arsenal, if they're going to win it, are going to have to win it in the first 60, 70 minutes. They won't have the ability to make changes that will affect the last 20 minutes. Whereas our bench will probably be similar to midweek's bench. He's got options that he can affect the game with. So if it goes into the last 20 minutes close, I think we're in a stronger position.
Yeah, it's the joys of having a nice, strong, deep bench. I've seen some Arsenal fans. The Lewis Skelly one that would be a hell of a baptism by fire to throw him in against Mo Salah. But also one year
against Shakhtar over when was it? Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday. He was a sub and Jorginho was a sub. So
who started left? Oh, Calafiori obviously started left back on Tuesday because he hurt himself. Is that
right? I'll tell you exactly.
Was Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori.
Was Zinchenko on the bench?
Yes, but he was an unused substitute.
So they brought on Skelly ahead of Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So just something to
the pennies obviously dropped for Arteta. He got the email eventually from Pep that he just don't rate Zinchenko, and not exactly wrong. Ashley Scouser Pete here says we're missing the best keeper in the world and one of the most natural finishers in the Premier League. It's a squad game, so let's leave excuses at the door and just get on with it. Don't tell me how to make excuses, Scouser Pete, but we will get on with it. Ashley, how do you think Liverpool's going to line up? Let's run through it from the back five, the midfield, and the forwards, and we'll go around and see if we have consensus. Give me your back five, Ashley.
I think I think he goes with his strongest 11, and I think we know what his strongest 11 is. But for me, that's Robertson, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent with Kelleher behind them. I think that
everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the team. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
Oh no. It's
Okay.
because I think.
I mean, there's like 1 or 2 question marks, but that's an argument. You're stretching.
I think there's 2 big question marks, and the one of them's in midfield. So I'm presuming that if we're saying it's his strongest 11, he's going with Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and McAllister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curtis Jones will count himself unlucky, I think.
It feels harsh. It feels harsh on Curtis Jones because if he's not going to get the start from this game, why didn't he get the start in midweek?
I don't think
Fair
Slot
point.
cares. I genuinely think he's got his starting 11 and he
Yeah.
doesn't care.
Basically,
I don't
Slot
think
doesn't
he's
give a
gonna
bollocks,
baby
man.
people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We got so used. Like, I feel like last year we got into this mindset of like, oh, it's a squad game, and Klopp's using his squad, and we finally kind of, because we used to have this starting 11 thing with Klopp, and then he moved away from it, and he started rotating, and then we all kind of questioned what the lineup would be. I think Slot's just returning to, this is my team, and that's it. I don't know.
Okay, so you, Kev, you think it's going to be his first choice 3 in midfield?
Yeah, barring as long as they all come off healthy the other night, and they've all trained on okay this week, he'll look to give as many as humanly possible a full week's rest next week.
Yeah.
It's just bite your gum shield, get through tomorrow, and then you can have a few days off, lads.
I mean, that advice is only pertinent for one member of the squad, really, because I don't think any of the other ones wear mouth guards. So then Gav up front, Madge Apple says it's a pity Jota's out. Hopefully Nunes can run them ragged. Presumably Nunes starts up top for everybody, and then the question mark is left wing, and it's got to be Diaz, and Gakpo and Jones can sit there and go like...
You see, I'm with Ashley. I don't think this manager cares. I think he goes, look, them 11 are fit. We've looked at the data. They can do 90 minutes. They're going to do it. And they're not actually doing 90 minutes. When you look at the changes, I think he'll start getting, or probably has, and definitely will get into a rhythm where he looks at Gakpo, he looks at Jones, and he was looking at Nunes. And he's saying, they're the 3 subs I'm definitely going to make. Right? If Jota had started this weekend, he would have looked at Nunes on 65, maybe 70. He'd have done similar with Jones and similar with, Cody Gakpo. And then he can make a change with the likes of a Simicast if he wants. He can make a change with a Gomez if he wants. But I think it'd be very strange for him to veer away from what he's done and what's got him here so far. And people will get worried, and rightfully so. Is it too many games for someone? How many minutes? But like, they have a game against Brighton during the week where I'm a Kev. I think he turns around and I think he probably puts Yaros in goal against Brighton. I think he plays Joe Gomez. I think he plays Kwanzaa. I think he'd play Endo. I think he'd play Jones. But you see, Jones is really good. Brilliant game last Sunday. Jones is actually really good in these games coming on. And the reason is, I think if you're chasing it, I think he's really good at trying to find space and get things moving. A bit like Harvey Elliott, to be fair. And if you're looking to protect it, I think he's got much better at being in the structure, being very disciplined in what he's doing. He's a good ball carrier. He protects it well if you're under a bit of pressure. So we're not only looking at the start of this game and what 11 can do. You're looking at, like Kev mentioned earlier, if they have a bit of trouble coming on the bench, or a lack of people that may have a huge effect on the game, Liverpool actually have quite a few there. With Gakpo, and with Gakpo and Jones in particular. I think you have 2 that can really, really affect the game. And then other players that can do jobs for you. But, when it comes to Liverpool 11, I'd be amazed if it's not that 11. Genuinely amazed if it's not that 11. And I think Arsenal know what 11 are coming. And the only jeopardy in this is what Arsenal 11 are coming. But Liverpool should probably be preparing for Odegaard, Saka, Calafiore, Timber, Tony Adams, and Dave Seaman in goal. Like, they should be preparing for all this, the sort of way. So, yeah, if it's anything other than that 11, I'd be surprised. I'm not against if you want to put a Jones in. I'm not against if you want to put a Gakpo in. But just the way it went the other night, I think he'll go again with Brighton during the week. If it was a European game during the week, I think he might change it a little bit. But the fact that it's Brighton, I think you could nearly you could put a few quid on that 11 being out, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Emmett agrees completely with the strongest 11. Just want to point out that the profile picture Emmett has there was moments before disaster. I believe that was Limoncello night. So
No, it's not.
was that not Limoncello
No,
night? Oh.
no. That's a picture out of his sister's back garden. That's the day he misses the show on the Sunday night.
Yeah, that was a Limoncello night.
Oh, sorry. Do you know what I
was
was thinking you were talking about? I was thinking about the time we were in Liverpool and he was telling a story and he fell off the chair.
I was going to say, are there multiple limoncello?
Oh, there's multiples. The one in Liverpool where he's sitting there telling the story, he's halfway through and the chair just collapses underneath him in this beer garden and he's just sprawling on the ground. And he got up and tried to continue his story. And we went, Emma, there's no point, but he just, call it quits. But you're right, that is limoncello night.
Yeah. So then that brings us on, Ashley, seeing is that, we don't really know what Arsenal might do. It seems like everybody's pretty much concrete on what 11 we're going to put out then. How would you like to see Slot send us out to play against Arsenal? Because I'd saved this comment here from Avo. It says, Slot may cut off the flanks and force them down the middle to stop their chances of getting set plays from the outside into the middle, cut out their dangerous set plays. Madge Apple saying the crowd will turn on them if they go a goal down. Imperative to turn the screws for the first 30. How would you like to see Arnie send the boys out on Sunday against Arsenal?
That's a good question. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does with possession, because I think with Chelsea we saw that we kind of gave them a little bit more possession than what we're used to. I think that was one of the first times that we've had less possession. And we let them kind of come on to us. I'm curious to see if he's going to do something similar. I think the set pieces is their big threat. I think that we've said that a couple of times already in the show. I think we've actually improved quite a bit on set pieces. I don't know if that's specifically because Konate's in the team. I think he has a lot to do with it. But in general, I think the possession is going to be my biggest curiosity. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I would like to see us come out of the blocks just because I said it before the last game. Like, I would just like to see how we play if we get a 2-goal lead in the first 15 minutes, not against Arsenal, but against anybody, because we haven't really had that yet. Like, we've seen how we deal with a 1-goal lead and a 2-goal lead late in the second half sort of thing. But Kev, it's probably too much to expect us to come flying out of the traps like we saw multiple times under Jurgen Klopp against Arsenal, isn't it?
I'd be shocked. I think a lot of how we set up against Arsenal and how we play will depend on how Arsenal press us and who can find the space the quickest. It took us a while against Leipzig to find Gakpo was the one who was isolating his fullback. So it took us like 3 different formation changes in the first half an hour to figure out how to get the ball out to Gakpo.
You shared those images on WhatsApp. Sorry to interrupt there, Kev. Yeah. And that was so illuminating. I mean, a 3-1-6 at one point. It was 4-3-3. The flexibility that we're showing in game even is impressive.
But the other side of it is Arsenal last season played with 2 strikers who would both withdrawn, waiting for the mistake to come. They allowed us to have the ball in and around the back, and they pounced on the ball coming into midfield. I think Arsenal will probably try to be cagey. They'll wait for us to make a mistake and then look to pounce, especially with the forwards they're going to have on the pitch in Trossard, Martinelli, and probably Sterling. All quick, all tricky on the ball, all can draw fouls, all can create situations that you can work set pieces from. So if they press us like they have been pressing sides, then we'll be doing our level best to try to find McAllister and Gravenberch in space and set Diaz on his way. Because Diaz up against Thomas Partey will be, Diaz will be licking his lips trying to get at that. But the other side of it is when Arsenal have the ball, is Partey going to come into midfield like an inverted right centre mid, leaving a back 3? We don't know. So it's all depends on how Arsenal set up against us as to how we're going to set up to play against them.
Yeah.
It seems like we've been doing that quite a lot this season as well.
Someone's dog agrees.
I love the dog.
Oh God, we're just going to be inundated with more fucking people giving out now. Me and Matt's fault this one tonight. Spoiler, we don't really fucking care.
Somebody rang my doorbell. I can't even hobble upstairs quickly and check it because I'm still on crutches. Shut up!
That's the only solution. There is only one solution: to just shout at the dog. And then the dog thinks you're playing with it, so it barks back thinking this is the most fun. It's about time he's paying me some attention. But that's not it at all. Oh, there's the dog. There's the dog. Look, he's fine now, not bothering him. Hey, why am I talking to the dog? He doesn't know what to say to me.
No barking.
Hi, dog.
Yeah.
Can I just say on our approach to this, I think it's variation that wins it. And I'm interested when you said there, I'd love to see what we do if we were 2-0 up after 15 minutes. I know exactly what we do. And we do what we do to a lot of teams. We stay in shape. We're committed to what we're doing. And if they get a sniff of our goal, we take the ball and we don't give it back for 5 minutes and we take all momentum out of the game. That's exactly what we would do. Arsenal will play Havertz. I think he'll play. I think Havertz will play. I think you'll probably see Trossard making up the midfield three in a bit of a 4-2-3-1 for me with Arsenal. Unless he goes Marino, Rice and Jorginho, puts Trossard down one side because Martinelli isn't fully fit, Sterling down the other, and maybe Martinelli up front. But they're going to press. There's no doubt about it. They won't. I don't think the crowd will allow them not to. And I think, we've spoken since the start of the season that there's going to be a game where we're going to try pass it around, we're going to get caught, and we're going to concede a goal. I'm hoping this isn't the game. But as soon as I think of Arsenal pressing, I think we will play. But I think the key to all this is going to be the ball out, where where we set it to the right to Trent, and then he sets it back into Konate, and Konate puts it up the line, and then Salah is backing up defenders, and we've a Szoboszlai running off him. I think that's where it has to be. There has to be a variation, because if Liverpool go into this and they decide, right, we're sticking to our guns where we're going to pass, it will work, and it'll work the next time. But there will be a time where Arsenal go, we know the pattern here, and they're not silly. Arsenal aren't a silly football team. They're well coached an inch of their lives, I think. And for me, if you pass it through them once and you pass it through them again, and then they think, oh, we have them here, and they look to cut off a passing lane, and you whip 130 yards down the line, and Salah's backing up a Lewis Skelly, or is that his name, Lewis Skelly, or a Zinchenko, and you've a Szoboszlai running off him, or even a Nunez pulling out to that side to back someone up and get it into Salah. Then Arsenal, they have to wonder, well, what are they going to do now? Because if we press them, they've no problem. Liverpool like this. Liverpool like you to actually go and press them, because what they do is they look for either the ball into the centre of the park to a Szoboszlai, right? Or they look to the wing for a Salah who's looking to play off. So, Szoboszlai's looking to play off. Liverpool like that. And I think Liverpool will have plenty of opportunity to play that way, but they have to take that opportunity. There's a fear going into it that Liverpool will look at possession of the ball as the be all and end all, and sometimes possession of the ball that deep with a team that are good at pressing Arsenal, they're really good at pressing, that it's too much of a risk. So for me, if there's variety to what Liverpool are doing on the ball, I think they can cause serious damage to Arsenal, and they can get out of their own half with ease sometimes, and then it's up to Arsenal to turn and go, right, well, now we have to defend. And the bits I've seen of Liverpool doing that, where they vary, they're frightening at times, because the running power they have is, even Jota's such a good runner as well. People forget that Jota's such a good runner, and if you have a Salah and you have a Nunez, you have a Diaz, and you have, for me, a Szoboszlai running off these balls that are clipped, any team, forget who they are in serious trouble, because Liverpool, that's what they look to do. They look to kill you that way. So variation for me. Pass when it needs to be passed, but don't be clipping it for the sake of clipping it.
Yeah.
Let's plan this where we go, look, bang, 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 and it's gone. and then the next time, bang, 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 and we're still in our own half for it. That's fine. But we're going to keep varying this so they're guessing all the time. That's what I've been. Bear says Jota's being real, though. I wasn't talking about Jota in the sense of he's playing. I mean, Liverpool are good at doing that, even with Jota in the side, because people think Nunez is like a thoroughbred racehorse, which he is. But Jota is a really good runner off the ball. So, yeah, mix it up, and let's see what comes of it.
Yeah,
it's going to be some fucking game. I can't wait.
I know. It's starting to bubble already. It's a pity. It's another like 2 full days almost until we actually get into the action. But I think you're spot on with the variation, because like even when Slot was coming in, he's a very possession-based manager, but we've seen him be completely willing to change it around and go long, whether that's from the goalkeeper or from Van Dijk out to the wing, or that one you're talking about where Konate cuts through the midfield and plays the ball right up to the forward line. But there's a lot to be seen from it. I mean, Dan J says he can see Arteta being happy with less possession, being direct as soon as they win it back. They'll probably try to start fast the first 10, not giving us a second on the ball, and then sit off for a while. Sam Wade comes in with, we sit in, keep it tight and frustrate them. Crowd gets nervous. They'll make a mistake at the back. I can't see anything other than a 2-0 win, which I absolutely, absolutely love that confidence from it.
But isn't it great the way there's 2 different variations on what way we should do it there?
Yeah.
And it's good because it means that there's a confidence in people that we can do it in various ways.
I think that goes to show something I mentioned on the post-match show after the Leipzig game of the quality of Arne Slot. Like, obviously, when he got picked out by the Liverpool hierarchy to take over from Jurgen Klopp, there was obviously something to the man. I didn't really know anything about him. I can't claim to have watched a ton of Feyenoord games while he was in charge there, but
I watched 11 minutes of footage.
Nice. Okay. I think I watched them the season that West Ham went to the Conference League final. I think Feyenoord was in that. I think they lost in the semifinal or maybe
season
in the final.
Before last year.
Yeah, but I couldn't have told you anything from that. But Ashley Arg says, I quite like Nunez for this game. I think he suits playing against Arsenal in that big pitch. And I want to get everybody's kind of opinion on what battle are you most looking forward to? Because for me, I'll go early on this one. I think Darwin Núñez against Gabriel, and whether it's Ben White, whether they drop Declan Rice in as an auxiliary, as a center half for it, I think Darwin Núñez against their center halves is going to have a fun game at the Emirates on Sunday. Whether that equates to any goals, who knows? It's Darwin Núñez. We all know this by now. But what matchups on the pitch are you looking out for?
I think whoever Mo Salah is going to face up against, if it is Lewis Skelly, I mean, like everyone said, that's a baptism by fire. Even if it's Zinchenko, even if it's Partey, whoever's playing against Mo Salah in that kind of makeshift position, I think is the one that Liverpool chooses to target. But I think their whole back four is going to be unsettled. So you could pick anyone across our front line and be like, well, Diaz on the other side, that could be a great battle. So I don't want to pick other people's things, but I think that how we deal with that back line and decide to challenge them is, I think, going to be very telling in how the game goes on.
Yeah. Kev, Dan J here says, I hope we try the move for Salah's goal against him in the preseason a few times. Ball into Núñez, lay off, midfielder plays it through to Salah or Diaz. What part of the pitch has got your interest peaked for Sunday, Kev? Trent
and Martinelli. If Arsenal are going to get any joy, it's going to come from him. I think he's a phenomenal footballer. When he's on form, he's brilliant. Beautiful boy. And Trent's had problems with him in the past because he's lightning quick and his interplay is usually pretty good. But if Trent manages him and can keep him out of the game, that limits everything what Arsenal can do. And if you can force him to go the other way, he doesn't like it that much. You can take it out of his legs by forcing him to do running that he doesn't want to do. So what Trent does when he decides to come inside and when he decides to hold his width and allow Salah the space with Szoboszlai to run at players, I think that's the key battle for me.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Gravenberch is the key to it all.
I was going to put the comment up.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to say it.
No, it's great.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I see that. The big thing off the ball for us against Arsenal is Arsenal. They're not the most direct side in the world, so they're not going to really get a wide and lasher in the box. They don't do an awful lot of that. until they get set pieces, which they're really good at. What they like to do is they like to get down the sides, a bit like Arsenal teams of old, to be honest. They like to play around you. They like to get in that inside right and inside left channel, and then look to supply from there. And they usually get a lot of that ball coming from, Rice is good at it. Rice is good at moving 10, 15 yards and playing something into that inside right channel. And then they look to play from there, whether it's going wide or whether it's coming inside and looking to do things. So I think pressure on the ball is going to be very important. And I know that it's a really obvious thing to say, but I think the midfield three need to be right on it in terms of, having a good structure between the three of them to protect fullbacks and centre backs, because that's what they're there for. But when I think of it going both ways, it's Gravenberch in my head. It's just screaming in my head, because I've said it before this season. I've loved the way he plays football, but my biggest thing on him is being in the right place at the right time. Just being in the right place to get a long leg in, intercepts, plays. And it's a nice big pitch at the Emirates, and if he's allowed to twist those hips as the ball goes by him and open his legs up, I don't care if you're Declan Rice or you're Moreno or you're Jorginho or you're Partey or anybody else, you're not keeping up with this fella, and he's just going to run into acres. And if he runs into acres, then I think Arsenal in serious danger again. So, but Arsenal can cause us danger. I don't want to come across here like we can do all this and Arsenal can't do anything. Arsenal absolutely can. It's going to be Luis Diaz is going to have to do his work. Salah's going to have to do his work. And Slot mentioned it the other night. He said Salah's walk backwards towards Trent was really, really impressive the other night, which is good to hear, because I think they will have to do it, put a shift in. But when it all comes down to it, I think if you have pressure on the ball, the high line or the high-ish line kind of takes care of itself. Do you know the sort of way? I trust Kanate and I trust Van Dijk. But honestly, when I look at it, if Gravenberch is given an opportunity to open his legs up here and go, I'd be fairly confident in the game, because he picks the right passes, he picks them at the right time, and he's given it to players that, no disrespect to Lewis Skelly and no disrespect to Partey if he has to play there, Diaz and Salah against those two, it's a real chance for Liverpool. On Núñez, I think Núñez needs to be clever on Sunday. I think if he gets into a physical battle, a physical bitty battle, I think it'll suit Gabriel. I think he likes that. I don't think he's against that. I think Núñez needs to be clever where he pulls into positions that just pulls that defender away a little bit, gets him into some uncomfortable positions, and just lays it off nice and easy. Look to be in. I think if Núñez gets a bit more involved in the interplay and is interested in pulling defenders a little bit away, I think he could have a big game. But having said that, put him in a race or any of them, and I think he'll win it. But I'd like to see a mature one from Núñez. I don't mind him smacking on him 35 yards in off the corner of this bar and the post and stuff like that. I've no problem with him doing stuff like that. But I think we need a mature one from Núñez, because if it was Jota and we win on Sunday, we'd be coming off going, how good was Jota? Look, finding them little pockets and just being in the right place defensively and stuff like that. A really mature forwards performance. I think we need that from Núñez. He's a different player, but I think we need it from him.
Yeah, Ed says the comment that Dan J had says, really hope Núñez keeps his cool. Gabriel will be all over him like a rash, trying to wind him up. Martinelli versus Trent will be big, which is what Kev said there. And then Ashley had another lovely percentage-based statistic for us, which is Trent is currently at a 64% tackle success rate, which is higher than Gabriel. But then, of course, Dan Austin points out that Martinelli has his best games against us. And it's when we think about, because Gab, obviously you're right, it's not just all about look at all that we can do, because Arsenal are a serious outfit. Like, they've got quality all over the park. Martinelli is one to look out for. It's that sleepy little shit Trossard for me, Ashley, that he seems to like playing against Liverpool. He's got such big bags under his eyes.
Yeah, he is a bit sleepy.
A casket, have a bag off.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. I feel like a lot of people underestimate him. And I think that's kind of the kiss of death with him. Like, he can be sneaky. That's actually a good terminology for him, because I feel like a lot of times he comes through with a goal when you least expect it. And a lot of times he's unmarked and he's, doing some sort of clever little dribble thing. So I think not underestimating him and not underestimating Arsenal as a whole is going to be very important, because we've talked numerous times about this team being in the right mental space when they are against an opponent. And we tend to do poorly when we underestimate an opponent and we roll up like to this, whatever stadium it may be, and think, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. So I think it's going to be very key that Slot keeps them focused and keeps them level-headed. And whether or not they have their first choice center backs or not, they are still a very, very well-drilled team. And they don't give away much. They have a great defensive record. Their set pieces are threatening. And they can, if they want to, just close up shop, and they can play for a draw. I think they need the win, but I don't know what their tactics are going to be now that they have these players out. You know, and if they do go more conservative, I wouldn't be surprised if we find it difficult to break them down, because they're very good at that. They are. I mean, I think it might be in our favor that they need the points a lot more than we do, because I do think that they need the points at this stage. I think this is a must win for them. I think for us, less so.
Yeah, it goes back to the top of the show of like it seems like it's a must win for Arsenal, but yet it's being painted in such a light of like, well, even if they lose, they've got all these get out of jail free cards and all these escape clauses for it.
Yeah, but those not points on the board.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I mean, you mentioned they've got a good defensive record, but it's not nearly as good as ours. Red Steve's going along with me. Sold Trossard and FPL this weekend, so that's a guaranteed hat trick, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Kev, any other spots besides Martinelli v. Trent in terms of Arsenal posing a threat to us? The set pieces, obviously. Are you worried about Declan Rice or Mikel Moreno or?
No, late runners from midfield would be the one. I'm just looking. So I've been reading something here on BBC side actually, and they compare the season so far for Arsenal and Liverpool. And obviously, the key ones that stands out for me is goals scored. We're both on 15. Goals conceded. They've conceded 8. We've conceded 3. Number of shots are identical. Shots on target, we've 2 more shots on target for the season. Shots off target, 2 less. There is a hair's breadth between the two of these sides, really, over the season so far. The difference is we've been better and stronger defensively. We've been better at seeing games out and managing games over the course of the season so far. And the other thing is, after tomorrow, or after Sunday, they got Preston in the Cup. Then they got Newcastle away, Inter Milan, and then Chelsea before the international break. So if we do our job right and we are 7 points ahead of them after Sunday, their margin of error is gone. They cannot drop any more points. These games against Newcastle, Chelsea, even when they come back, their first game back is against Nottingham Forest. And as we've seen tonight, Forest 3-1 win puts them up into 5th. You know, not easy games. And, you know, Arsenal definitely on Sunday are in a must-not-lose situation. They cannot lose this game on Sunday. We can really put a good, solid right hook on them on Sunday and get a good gap where it's not just us dropping one game or even dropping 2 games. We'd have to make the mistake. We'd have to drop points in 3 separate games for them to be able to get on par with us. You know, so this is a massive game for them and us for different reasons. You know, if we can get our job done on Sunday and come away with a win, and there's no reason why we can't, then it's a big statement. And I know it's early in the season, but the way this season is going and the way we're playing at the minute, it really will put a marker on a lot of teams. Will start looking at us in a very different way going into the rest of the season, especially after the international break. Even though we've got tough fixtures coming up, I don't think Slot cares. He's just game. This is how we win this game. Okay, this is how we play the next game. And he's literally metronomic in that. And he has been all the way through, because every game that we've played this season so far, there's nothing identical. None of them have been identical. They've all been slightly different in every single way. So this is huge. I know it's early in the season, and I know, Gav, you were saying that, you know, it's not season defining. It could inflict a damaging blow to Arsenal if we come away from there with 3 points. It really could.
And in the flip side of it, when we were doing our preview show before the international break ended, and we were talking about our run of these 7 games that we have in this block between the international breaks, and it was like, if we come out of these first 3 games of Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal with 7 points or with 3 wins out of 3, like that primes us just incredibly for the season, because you get through the tricky period here, and then that little bit after the November international, so many international breaks, after the next international break, and then our our path in through the festive period, it gets a little bit easier in terms of on paper fixture wise. Gav, I'm going to come to you for some scoring predictions and who you think might be man of the match when all's said and done. But before we do that, I'm going to give a shout out, obviously, to our 2 charity partners that we're still continuing to raise money for, which is Fan Supporting Food Banks in Liverpool, the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin. You'll always find the link on any of the shows or podcasts, YouTube, whatever it is, to go and donate to that, to the GoFundMe page. Take the link, share it amongst your social media, let people they might just have a few extra dollars that they're willing to generate towards the cause, and we're going to just keep on trucking towards that and get there. Also, absolute shout out to Redmen TV, their massive 12-hour telethon that they did on YouTube, raising money for Zoe's Place, the Children's Hospice in Liverpool the other day. That's the sort of thing you can do some good with these shows like that. So that's good to see somebody else also using their platform to raise a little bit of money. And final couple of days, I think there's 3 days left on footballprizes.co.uk. The grand prize is 2 hospitality tickets for Liverpool hosting Real Madrid in the Champions League. Head on over to their website. It's £2.99 a pound, or £2.99 a ticket. They're selling just under 1,000 of them. So it's actually it says they raised £35,000, which is
crazy.
Yeah, they absolutely knocked the socks off of it, and some effort to do 12 straight hours of podcasting. You don't see a lot of telethons anymore. It's something you see a lot more of when I was a kid. Gav, what do you think the final score is going to be? Who do you think is going to score, and who do you think is going to be player of the game, man of the match?
Well, before that, who's refereeing it?
Anthony Taylor.
Of course he is. We need to watch this, because I think the narrative being laid down over the last 7-8 days, or whatever it's been, or will be come Sunday, with regarding Arsenal and their feelings towards the PGMOL and the Premier League and the standard referees and everything else, could be, something where something marginal might go against you. So I think Liverpool need to be really assured on what they're doing with regards to their decision making and everything else. Don't give them a reason to throw something easy at them, to shut them up. 2-2 draw.
Ugh.
Yeah, 2-2 draw. I think we're underplaying Arsenal a little bit. I think their overall form is excellent. I don't think they've been playing their best football, but they've been grinding out wins, and they've been grinding out results. They do it against Leicester at home. They do it against Southampton at home. And I know that's no big shakes. They should really beat City at the Etihad. They're just last kick of the game job there. We're going there. I don't think we're going there with any fear. But I still think they have enough. I still think they have enough to trouble us, but I think we have enough to trouble them as well. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw, with one of the teams scoring very late on to get that. Goal scoring was 2 for Liverpool. I have to pick Salah. And I would have picked Jota all fucking day if he was playing, because he loves the Emirates. But I'm going to go Salah and Diaz for Liverpool.
And I don't care about their goal scores.
Oh, player of the match. Player of the match will be for us. I think it'll be Ryan Gravenberch again. But he won't get it off Sky. Sky will give it to an Arsenal player.
Yeah, that's okay. Good for them. Just through the comments here, Bonkers LFC says Nunes and Salah assist, 1-2 win for Liverpool. Rod Meta is saying 2-1 for Liverpool. Bob Paddock has got a 3-0 win with a Darwin hat-trick, which is gorgeous.
If we get a 3-0 win with a Darwin hat-trick, right? Honest to God, right? Call the fucking season off. You're not topping it, man. I swear to God. Like Darwin Núñez hat-trick at Arsenal will be just
Did anyone see
probably
his
bigger than
TikTok
Istanbul.
video of him like at the zoo with the saying that he was the panther?
No,
It's on YouTube Shorts. If you go back, they all go to the zoo together.
He is the Panther. That's his nickname on the South American commentary. La Pantera Darwin is incredible. Morton has got sort of the same negative viewpoint towards Anthony Taylor as Gav does. He's calling for a 0-0 with Macca sent off because the ref will steal the show. Emmett Limoncello says 1-4, Mo by 2, Núñez, Diaz, and a Gabriel red card.
Emmett's doing a Neville on this. He's not predicting what he thinks will happen. He's what he thinks will hope will happen.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
No, you have to do what you think might happen.
And Ashley, you pointed out that Arsenal are undefeated in 7 home matches in all comps with 6 wins and a draw. What's your score prediction, Ashley?
I think records are made to be broken. I'm going to go 2-1. I think that's a sensible score. I think that we win, but I don't think it's super comfortable. I kind of think that Slot enjoys like a 1-goal lead. I'm starting to think that he enjoys that as like a game state. I think that a lot of times when you go up by 2 goals, the other team gets desperate. I have no reason to back up my claim. It's just a theory, but I just think that he likes being 1 ahead. So I'm going to go that. I think Núñez maybe is gaining a bit of confidence. I'd like to see him score a big goal. I would like to see him score the winner in this goal. I think Salah gets the other one. And I think it could either be sneaky Trossard or Havertz for them. Man of the match, I'm going to go with Konate. I think that he's been a monster in the back. And I think with their set pieces, I think that he could be a really good weapon for us.
Yeah, that's a great shout. He's probably been in the top 3 choices for man of the match in just about every single game so far this season. He's quietly and slowly coming to a crescendo, building up quite a good season. Dan J, after all the big build-up, a KG 1-1, man of the match to Van Dijk. Tom Boland, 2-1 seems to be the popular scoreline. He's looking at Salah, Diaz, and Havertz. Bonkers LSC pointing out that while Arsenal haven't lost in 7 games at home, we haven't lost away yet. Kev?
I think that run continues. I think we'll win 1-0. I think it'll be tight, tense. I think I'm going to go a bit more grey watching it. I think it'll be stressful to the nth degree, and I think Virgil will get man of the match.
Who scores? I'm hoping he picks a sub. Spoiler.
No. I think it'll be a set piece. I think it'll be Ibou Konate. I think it's going to be that size. I think the way Arsenal have to set up, Ben White hasn't played centre back in a long time. And I think we're actually physically a very big side, and Konate and Virgil will get a chance from a set piece in this game. It's just a case of if they can take it. I think Ibou is definitely due, so that would be my go.
All right, I like that. Roy Fitzgerald refuses to predict a score, so I won't read the rest of his comment because that's how it works.
Correct.
Avos pointing out that nobody scores 2 goals against us. Nobody. And then this one here. I mean, read Steve. Bobby loves a goal against Arsenal. I was reading something from Ian Graham's book about Bobby Firmino this morning, and then went online and watched some Bobby Firmino absolute filth compilations on YouTube. And
him sitting down those like 3 defenders is one of my favorite clips.
He's just a great footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, there's an idea.
What was the little fella? What was the little fella that just? Who was the little fella that played for Arsenal that in that move doesn't try to tackle him, just jumps on the ground and slides?
It might have been Mavropanos. I think Mavropanos.
No, this little guy. He ended up going to Sampdoria. The little midfielder.
Oh, Torreira.
You watch Torreira in that movie, he's like he's on a water slide on a holiday, face first, just looking at Firmino absolutely destroying them. Fantastic goal.
I can't wait for Bobby to come back for some sort of Legends game.
Yeah. He was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I mean it's as simple as just there's a show built in right there for you, Gab. Just bring a couple people on and let us all wax lyrical about Bobby Firmino for an hour. There's something for the international break because
Or maybe we could just show his goals on YouTube, take a ban.
Take the
but
ban.
we had our fun, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah, maybe so.
2 minutes, 2 minutes, well worth it. I'm going to say my predicted score is going to be 2-0 to Liverpool. It's going to be Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez scoring, and man of the match is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's going to assist one or both of those goals. Could be from a set piece, but it's the flashes that Trent showed in that game against Leipzig where he was just doing some outrageous play in the middle of the park. Just absolutely loved it. Limoncello's back in. He says, we're laying down a marker. I'm telling you, we win by at least 2, which I absolutely love. But yeah,
can we all start a campaign for Emma to change his name on YouTube to the Limoncello Ultra? Can we start that?
Are you able to change
that
your name?
is that another t-shirt?
Yeah.
Of course you can change a name.
Really
Of course
nice
you can.
next to Grumpy Kev.
Yeah.
The Limoncello Ultra t-shirt now, that could fucking really fly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
I
mean?
didn't think you could change your name just because, Carl being Christmas Eve and whatnot.
Oh no, he's changed his name. He's
Oh,
changed
has
his
he?
name as well.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
that.
You should know it's been there.
He's
Emma's
on the
just give me
ball.
2
He's on.
minutes. Emma's changing it to the Limoncello Ultra. He's gone off to find out how you spell limoncello.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's going to happen first.
Here and I.
It turns out if he's had limoncello tonight already, that might be really hard to spell.
Yeah, he's going for a nap. He'll be back in 5
He's
or
just
6
putting
hours.
a cigar out, and then he's going to go and sort himself out. Yeah. Anyway, we're not waiting 2 minutes for
so
him.
Chris Brack is in here late. He's predicting same as me. 2-0 to Liverpool. Salah Núñez. Arsenal down to 10 men. That's a little bit further on than I went. Scouser Pete saying Indy Kavanaugh over the Limoncello Ultras. I don't think that's how you spell limoncello. And Madge Apple wants to see another clean sheet for Kelleher. I'm gonna, being the resident English teacher, avoid trying to pronounce his first name because it's a coin flip every time over exactly how to do it.
How do you spell limoncello? I thought it was Limoncello.
I think it might be an I. I think it might be Limoncello because it's
limoncello.
Italian, like limoncello.
Yeah, but we're not going to spell it limon. We're going to spell
You
it
have to
lemon.
spell it how it is on the bottle.
No, it's limoncello. Sure, if you got a t-shirt with limoncello on it, people go, look at them fucking idiots. They tried to put limoncello on a t-shirt. They spelled it wrong. So, there you go.
Yeah, see? Ashley's backing me up. Limoncello.
Yeah,
Limoncello, Gav.
Yeah, but it's limoncello.
We're phonetically spelling it over here.
If he changes it to limoncello, we'd say, look, you have that wrong. Can you go back and change it again to the limoncello place? So there we are. Well, we're not waiting for him to change his name. Can we go now?
No, it's taken way too long. So Scouser repeat what Ashley said. That's always a good thing to go with. So yeah, presumably.
Oh, he did. He changed it, and he spelled it wrong. But anyway, we leave him to.
All right,
we love the emoji. He's got the emoji as well on it.
Oh
so
the lemon.
That's what took him the extra 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Where's
Where's
the lemon somewhere in the emoji
big
warehouse?
drunk finger hanging over the keypad for trying to find what he was doing.
Eyes closing, drifting off to sleep. You never even know. You never even
Domino's
know.
pizza orders. That'll knock
You're
on the
just
door
going
in
to show up
half
at
an
his
hour.
house in 4 hours with a kebab for him because you're just that good of a man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
See, that's how you spell it. That's how you spell
Stop
it.
shouting at us, Emma. Stop shouting at us. There's no need to be shouting.
It's late, but yes, we're now into countdown mode. We got to get through Saturday's games and then the big match on Sunday night from the Emirates. Arsenal hosting Liverpool. Big game in all ways of defining it. You'll have myself, I believe Ashley, Kev, maybe even Chris Brack will be here for the post-match show afterwards. Gav, I presume you got a Sunday night show lined up as well, too?
Yep. The 4 of us on Sunday night, 10 o'clock.
So there you go. You get a little double barrel action from the Talkin Kop. That's just some of the joys that we bring you. So hit a like if you've been here watching us tonight. Leave your comments in the YouTube afterwards. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any 30s, which is only important if you're a member. So become a member because it's more than well worth it because the chat is where things live, like the Limoncello Ultras, for instance. So get involved with that. Please help support our charities, footballprizes.co.uk. You guys know all those things, but we'll see you after, hopefully, the Reds leave North London triumphant on
Not
Sunday.
London forever. Win the dog.
Yeah, that's right.
All that sort
All
of
right.
stuff.
A dog named Win and my dog named Pain in the Ass. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys after the match.